if your hair hasn't been growing the way you want, this video might be the wake-up call you need, because in this video I'm going to be sharing the mistakes that may be holding your hair back. Hi my loves, welcome back, and if you are new here, welcome. Here in this channel we talk about relaxed hair care, hair growth tips, protective styling, and anything hair related. So if you know you're interested in this type of content, please consider subscribing to join the family. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys 9 hair growth mistakes that are stopping you from achieving your hair goals. And without further ado, let's just get started. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is inconsistent routines. When it comes to seeing results in your hair growth journey, be it length retention, reducing breakage, getting your hair longer, or just wanting to increase the health of your hair overall, the rule is consistency. In fact, having a consistent regimen should be prioritized over having a perfect regimen, because even if you have a perfect routine but you are not consistent with it, like you do it this month, next month you don't do it, you do it the following month, then skip it for 2 months, if you keep going like this, you may not see the results that you want. So instead of aiming for a perfect regimen, get a regimen that you know you can stick to, a simple regimen that you know that even if the month is so chaotic, you will still be able to stick to that regimen. And that is why in my hair growth ebook, the 30-day routine I recommended for you guys is literally very simple. Like, even if you are so busy or your days are so chaotic or you are occupied from morning to night, you will still be able to keep up with that regimen, because it is not time consuming and it is very simple to follow. And by the way, if you have not gotten your copy of the hair growth ebook, the link to get that is in the description box. So yeah, make sure to grab your copy, so you are more likely to see results from a not so perfect regimen that you are consistent with, rather than a perfect regimen that you are not consistent with. So when you are creating your regimen or your routines, create one that you know that you can stick to. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is using hair oils to moisturize your hair. Hair oils are not meant to moisturize your hair. Hair oils are meant to seal in moisture. So basically, the oils act as a barrier between your hair strands and the environment. So if you coat your hair strands with oils without moisturizing your hair, you are actually sealing out moisture. So even if your hair wanted to get like extra moisture from the environment, for example during a humid weather, you have literally locked that out. So don't use hair oils with the purpose of moisturizing your hair, use it to seal. In fact, when it comes to moisturizing your hair, there are 2 recommended methods: the LCO method and the LOC method. L stands for liquid, C stands for cream or a heavy butter, while O stands for oil. So you start with your liquid, which is going to be any form of lightweight cream or your moisturizer and things like that, after which you can follow it up with a cream or something more heavy like a butter or an oil. So you should always start with your liquid, after which you can either follow it up with your cream and your oil, or your oil and your cream. So oils are meant to seal in the moisture you have already applied, not moisturize your hair. Moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is not tracking your progress. It is very important that you document your hair growth journey. It is very important that you track your progress, and it doesn't have to be anything complicated. It may just be something as simple as taking pictures or getting a measurement every month, because usually the hair growth rate every month is between 1/4 of an inch to 1 inch per month. So it may not be that visible if you decide not to take measurements, but when you are taking pictures or when you are taking measurements, this becomes more obvious. So if you were not doing this before, you may be thinking your hair is not growing, you are not retaining length. Meanwhile, it is actually growing and you are retaining length, just that the length is not that much for you to see visible results. Okay, so in order to track your progress, in order to know that you are getting results from your regimen, from your routines, from your products, and from what you are doing, learn to keep a track of your progress. So moving on, the next mistake I'm going to be talking about is washing your hair too frequently. Like, sis, why are you washing your hair 3 times a week? Especially as a black girly, that our hair don't get greasy that often. compared to like people that have 1A hair type. Like sis, you have no business washing your hair 3 times a week. Our hair already struggles with dryness because of the coil pattern, because the more coily or kinky your hair strands are, the more difficult it is for oils to travel down your hair strands and moisturize your hair because of the kinks and all that, which acts as a form of resistance when oils or products are trying to travel from your scalp down to your hair strands, compared to if you have straight hair strands. So since this is already a problem and the focus should be on retaining moisture as much as possible, why do you want to go ahead and worsen it by washing your hair 3 times weekly? Washing your hair or shampooing your hair, especially when you use sulfate containing shampoos, strip your hair of moisture, like strip your hair of its natural oils. So the natural oils that your hair is even trying to produce to help you cope, you are washing them away 3 times a week. So sis, what do you expect? More often than not, your hair is going to be dry. Okay, I know some people are going to argue that you can wash your hair and moisturize your hair, like use moisturizing deep conditioners and moisturize and seal your hair after the wash routine. But sis, there is nothing that can be as natural as the natural oils your body produces. There is no oil you want to use, there is no deep conditioner, no moisturizer you want to use that can be as natural as the natural oils from your scalp. So trying to retain these oils as much as possible. So instead of aiming for 3 times a week, why not spread it out? Some people wash their hair once a week. That may be okay depending on your routine, depending on if you sweat a lot, depending on how frequently you use products. But if none of this applies to you, like you don't use products heavily every day, you don't sweat that often, your scalp is not greasy, your hair is not greasy, I would even recommend that you wash your hair less frequently. So stop the 3 times a week washing, okay? Because that is just too much. So moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is applying products on dirty hair. So many people make this mistake of applying products on dirty hair. Like sis, how do you expect the products to be absorbed into your hair? Because the dirt on your hair strands is already serving like a form of barrier or covering on your hair strands. So applying the products on your hair strands is more of like you are coating the dirt, and instead of the product to be absorbed into your hair shaft, they are just going to be sitting on top of your hair strands because you are actually layering the products on the dirt. So sis, when applying products, make sure that you are applying them on clean hair to get the best results. Moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is ignoring your hair porosity. So many people ignore their hair porosity when they are trying to build a regimen or create a routine or use products in general. Your routine may be different depending on whether you have high porosity hair or low porosity hair. For example, when you are deep conditioning and you have high porosity hair, you don't necessarily have to put your hair under a shower cap or use heat because the products will easily be absorbed into your hair strands, whether you cover it with a shower cap or not, or whether you use heat or not. But when you use low porosity hair, this is needed to be able to help the products penetrate better into your hair strands. So whenever you are carrying out a routine or using a product, make sure that you are considering your hair porosity. Moving on, the next mistake I'm going to be talking about is so many people believe that hair growth and getting longer hair is due to genetics. Like if I got $1 for every single time that someone told me that the length of my hair is from genetics, I would be a millionaire by now. Yes, genetics play a role in some ways. For example, genetics can affect your hair growth rate, your hair type, your coil pattern, your hair density, your hair texture, and all of that. But when it comes to length retention, when it comes to preventing breakage, when it comes to getting your hair longer, that is on you, sis. No matter your genetics, you can always flip the script and retain length. Even if you have the worst hair growth rate, which is 1/4 inch per month, it means that in a year you should be expecting about 3 inches, and in just 3 years, if you retain all the length, you should be expecting 9 inches. 9 inches of hair in 3 years, in just 3 years, and that is if you have the worst hair growth rate. So sis, it's not genetics. I feel like so many people do this just to get away with the work. Like they don't want to put in the work, they don't want to admit to themselves that if they want to get their hair longer, if they want to retain length, if they want to get their hair healthier, they have to put in the work. So in order to avoid this, they just subconsciously imprint or consciously imprint into their brain that it's all genetics and there is nothing they can do to achieve their hair goals or get their hair longer. So why bother? Like, why put in the work when they are not going to be seeing results? And that is so wrong, because when it comes to getting your hair longer, length retention, reducing breakage, improving the health of your hair, that is on you, sis. So it's not due to genetics. Genetics play a role in how fast your hair grows, in how your hair looks in general, like your hair texture, your hair type and all of that. But when it comes to improving the health of your hair and increasing the length of your hair, that is going to be dependent on you, on your routine, on the products you use. Okay, so sis, stop blaming everything on genetics and sit down and do the work. So moving on, the next mistake I see most girlies make is comparing their hair growth journey to others. Everyone's hair journey is unique because we all have different hair types. We'll all have different hair growth rates. Even if you and somebody have the same hair growth rate, your hair type may be different, your hair porosity may be different. Like, there are so many other different things that can affect how you retain length, even if both of you have the same hair growth rate. So everyone's hair journey is different. What you should be comparing yourself to is your previous you from yesterday. Like, how was your hair yesterday compared to today? How is your hair today compared to your hair 1 year ago? That is what you should be comparing your hair to. That is who you should be comparing your hair to, not others. Because there are no two people that will have the same, like 100% identical hair growth journey. You know, I have hip length hair today. I get a lot of compliments on that. Like, lots of people get excited when they see my length, the health of my hair and all of that. But there are still other people that got to that length in less than how long it took me. I have been on my hair journey for 10 years now, but there are people that got to hip length in like 5 years. But I don't do the mistake of comparing myself to them. So what I do is compare how my hair looks now to how my hair looks last month or last year. So sis, stop comparing your hair growth journey to others and just compare the current state of your hair to the previous state of your hair. Okay, so moving on, the next mistake most people do is chasing trends. The hair of rice water today, they jump on that. The hair of a particular hair growth oil today, they jump on that. The hair of mini braids today, they jump on that. Like, some people just hop from one trend to another. Like, that is basically their hair growth journey. Their hair growth journey involves hopping from one trend to another. And since what was the first tip I gave you guys in this video? It was to be consistent with your routines. Find a routine, understand your hair, check what your hair wants, build your routine according to what your hair needs, and be consistent with that instead of chasing trends or hopping from one trend to another. Because when you keep hopping from one trend to another, you won't even know what is working and what is not, because you have not tried a particular routine or a particular trend long enough for you to be able to decide if this works or not. So pick something simple and do that thing over and over and over and over and over. You may even be consistent with your routine to the point that it becomes boring and repetitive. Even with that, continue doing it as long as you are seeing results with that. So instead of hopping from one trend to another, understand what your hair needs, what your hair wants, build a routine around that, and be consistent with that routine. So yeah guys, those are the 9 mistakes I have for you today that may be hindering you from hitting your hair goals. So if you have been guilty of any of these mistakes before, let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, so yeah guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you are new here and you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing to join the family, and don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Okay, so yeah guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.